Hi everyone, the time has come. Welcome to the General Hospital October 2016 wrap up. So my thought behind this segment is if you don't have time to go back and watch every single video, you can just come here and it'll be the month in review. So let me know if you want more detail, less detail, if you want it laid out just a little bit differently. This is the first one, so we'll see how it goes. So let's get right to it. Week 1 of October. On the episode on October 3rd, we learned that the hospital is put up for sale, potentially. A realtor is showing Lucy around. Paul is revealed as the hospital killer, and Anna and Dylan save Tracy. I know, it was just the beginning of last month. It seems like it was forever ago. Ava confides in Scott she was blackmailing Paul, and he threw the Julian trial, and she knew overall that he was the hospital killer, and he has the flash drive. She also admits to him that she was replacing Morgan's medicine with placebos. Morgan gambled, and maybe Morgan could have potentially been the target of the bomb. We don't know. Just a thought. Ava tries to get the flash drive from Paul, offering him his freedom via Scott. Doesn't go over as planned, like, at all. On the episode on the 4th, the full story between Jordan and Curtis comes to light. Turns out he left her alone on a stakeout to buy drugs. He feels she betrayed him by turning him in. She regrets nothing. He was offered a suspension and rehab, but he refused and was terminated from the force. We get confirmation that Valentine is in prison and Charlotte is safe to come to town. On the 5th, there was a particularly fun video I put up where in the beginning we did a little voiceover work here, so I recommend watching like the first 10 seconds of that video it's the one on the 5th if you have time. Michael attempts to take Paul out and steal an officer's gun, but Sonny stops him. Ava plants the seed in Morgan's head that something is going on between Dylan and Kiki. Paul won't give Ava the flash drive and pleads guilty to all charges. Paul tells Michael to tell Teddy that his mother died a hero, and he admits all and how Sabrina saved Monica, and Tracy overhears all that. Rifts between Dante and Sonny start. Sonny tells him to check in with Morgan because he's having a hard time, but Dante's focused on stopping a war and protecting his own son. Morgan sees Kiki and Dylan kissing in the boathouse. On the 6th, Morgan sticks a hook in the boathouse and leaves. Ned and Olivia, we learn they're together, which is just, be still my heart. And it was them in the boathouse that Morgan saw. So they've been sneaking around, and then they find the hook, and Olivia thinks it's a threat from Julian and eventually gets Ned on board that. Morgan tells Nell he saw his girlfriend cheating on him. They bond a little. He tries to kiss her, or kisses her a little bit, and she doesn't reciprocate and winds up leaving. Griffin feels hatred towards Julian, and he doesn't like it. Alexis is continuing to break the drinking pact, and Julian comes over and tries to get back in her good graces. Ned and Olivia confront Julian. He didn't have anything to do with the hook, and he intends to see Leo. Alexis still blames herself for her behavior at the trial. Sonny and Griffin talk about God and guidance, and Griffin questions Sonny's faith. Dylan and Kiki actually do kiss. Morgan effectively throws away his medicine at the floating rib, and Anna's content to let Sonny take action against Julian. On the 7th, Carly attempts to evict Julian, and Kiki opens up to Dylan about how she's disillusioned with Morgan, and she wants to be with him, Dylan. Morgan thinks he found Kiki and Dylan together. Griffin gets through to Sonny at the church, and Sonny calls off the hit against Julian. Morgan takes a joyride in Julian's car, and Jason chases him. He gets him to pull over, and the car explodes, and at this point, I really hoped they didn't kill Morgan. Week 2! On the episode on the 10th, Morgan is missing after the explosion, and the police are searching for him. Finn and Hayden let Tracy know about the potential sale of the hospital in hopes that she can stop it. Hayden first encounters Evan, aka the guy in the suit. Not Heaven, opposite of Heaven. Julian discovers his car exploded, and Tracy and Dylan continue to heal from what Paul did to them. On the 11th, I committed the crime of saying skedaddle. Nell really rah-rahs Carly. Liz and Sam attempt to be civil, but there's a Franco encounter. He steps up and tells Jake he did hurt Sam, and she doesn't have to forgive him. Jason tells Sonny a car exploded pretty much on Morgan. best way to put it. Julian checks out the scene and finds out Morgan was the driver of his car that night. Sonny dives into the river for Morgan, and it's kind of a callback to when he attempted to find Jason in the bay at the pier, or whatever you call that. Ava's informed that Morgan was in the car bomb, and she's in denial and grieving, and we saw some real human emotions from her. And Sonny tells Carly that Morgan's dead. On the 12th, Tracy was barred from the board meeting about selling the hospital, and Monica's informed of that. She tells Monica. Ava basically tells Kiki that it's Kiki's fault that Morgan died because he saw her with Dylan. Laura is still not thrilled with Kevin. Ned finds out Dylan didn't stick the hook in the door, and Dylan finds out Ned and Olivia were in the boathouse that night. Kiki tells Dylan Morgan died and puts the kibosh on their relationship. Dylan is also put in the position to put some puzzle pieces together about what happened that night that I think will happen later on. And kind of did a little bit. Dante tells Michael that Morgan died last night because he was out of town. And the infamous Doctor Strange shout out also happened that day. And Ned and Olivia are public now. And if you didn't know, that little thing they did on Doctor Strange actually made it onto ETC News here. And I saw it in a lot of places. I'm sure the Soup would have put it on if the Soup was still there. And they're acting like this is so weird. But for those of us who watched General Hospital, they did an Avengers shout out. They did Civil War. Like, this is what Ned and Olivia do. So I think it was so funny that everyone took it out of context and was like, ha ha ha, soap operas. And we're all watching it like, ha ha ha, that's a big thing between those characters. Anyway, on the 13th, Michael listens to Morgan's messages, especially Kiki's, where she's sad and sorry and needs to talk. The blame and guilt spiral starts with everyone who was around Morgan. And we meet Charlotte that day too, and she's adorable. So Maxie's told Morgan died and the circumstances around it. Maxie also doesn't want Charlotte to be Nathan's, but she will accept it. Nina has a fruit basket for Carly and has trouble writing the note. She advises Dylan to keep up with Kiki. Michael attacks Kiki after finding out that she was planning on breaking up with Morgan. And this fruit basket will later, Julian steals it and gives it to Sonny. I deleted that part because I didn't think it was a thing I had to put in here, but I forgot I had left the other part, and that kind of tied together, so I just told you now. On the 14th, I recommend checking out that video because Misha and me were particularly cute in that episode. Cutest, oh my goodness, Curtis puts the final kibosh, tonight's the night of kiboshes, guys, on Nina's baby dreams. Carly attempts to evict Julian, and Scott tells Julian to prove Sonny killed his own son, and then he'll be able to stay in town safer, so Julian hires Curtis. I also asked for no end of the year baby drama and definitely got my wish, but kind of a monkey's paw type situation. You know, you wish for one thing and you get that wish, but at what cost? Carly is taking Jocelyn and leaving, going back to her old home. Jocelyn finds out Sonny is probably behind Morgan dying, and she's devastated and now hates Sonny. Maxie takes Charlotte's juice box and is having a test run on it, a paternity test. Week 3 of General Hospital, on the episode that happened on the 19th, Hayden agrees to sleep with Evan in exchange for grant funding for Finn, although Evan doesn't know like all that. Well, he knows that, money has to change hands. Finn sees them going upstairs and follows them. She schemed, got Evan to overdrink, and gives Finn the check, and is now setting the stage so that Evan thinks they slept together. Nathan finds out he's not Charlotte's father and confronts Claudette, who happens to be with Griffin at the time. Griffin is revealed to be Charlotte's father. Maxie is abducted by one of Valentine's henchmen, or who we assume is Valentine's henchman. Ava attempts to get Morgan's pills, so that she can cover her tracks, and Nell catches her. On the 20th, Maxie is the victim of mistaken identity, and the henchman still has her, thinking she's Claudette. Ava does manage to steal the medicine from Morgan's room and loosely covers for herself. A mystery person fishes out the medicine that Ava threw away at the pier. And a reminder, the medicine Morgan threw away in the busboy bin are probably still there at the floating rib. Not a lot of days have passed right now. On the 21st, Carly organized Morgan's funeral, and of course Sonny can come, but he wasn't involved in the planning. Jason talks to Sam about moving out of Port Charles. Felicia makes an appearance, and Claudette sees her room has been ransacked. Griffin tries to enlist Anna's help against Claudette's wishes, and Claudette is planning her getaway. The henchman breaks a valve and leaves Maxie to die in the basement. Week 4 of General Hospital. On the episode on the 24th, Carly and Kiki have their confrontation over Morgan and Kiki's breakup. Finn and Hayden kiss. Kevin and Laura go on a date. Maxie attempts to escape and she finds a phone and calls Nathan. Nathan and Dante do manage to find Maxie just in time and she's saved. Claudette hits Griffin over the head with something and leaves. And Valentine sits next to Claudette on the plane, so she probably just should have stayed in Port Charles. She would have been safer. On the 25th, again, I recommend watching this video. It was super adorable. Misha was sleeping on my lap and I kept cutting to her. I highly recommend it. Hayden and Finn make things complicated and ultimately won't continue their relationship. Franco has gotten a recording of Heather admitting to trying to kill Lucas and Bobby to cover for him thinking he was the hospital killer, and he has supporting evidence from the guard and from the dealer who sold her the drugs, and he gives that all to Jordan, and with all this evidence the hospital will reopen. Scott and Sunny have an altercation where Sunny is has Scott by the throat at the Haunted Star. The possibility that Alexis could be behind the bomb comes up because a lot of red flags went off, and it was a theory I put out there that I still kind of stand behind, to be quite honest with you. On the 26th, Jordan figures out Curtis is working for Julian. Julian has this narrative in his head that he can get Alexis back, and Carly makes him look bad in front of Alexis and all. Sunny brings up a point that I actually didn't think they would touch on in the episode, where he tells Jason basically if he had done the job then this wouldn't have happened because he would have had someone closer he could rely on. And Sunny's on the bridge, Stone's Bridge, and he seems to be contemplating suicide. On the 27th, Anna confides in Griffin about her situation with Robin in the beginning to help empathize with him, as now he's a new parent, to try to get him in the mindset of the situation. Griffin continues to bond with Charlotte. Curtis and Jason have a run-in in Sunny's office, and Curtis is obviously investigating him, and Jason wants to know everything he knows. Jordan warns Valerie against Curtis again, saying that a relationship with him could potentially hurt her job. Robin is on the bridge with Sunny. It's actually Robin. It's not a hallucination. And she talks Sunny down and gets him to give her his word that he won't kill himself. Curtis takes pictures of the Morgan file that Valerie left on the desk that fell over, and he broke her trust. On the 28th, Danny spills the beans to Alexis about Sam and Jason moving, and Alexis clearly doesn't want them to leave. Nathan is attempting to investigate the video at the Calgary airport, but there's a glitch, so some time's going to go by. Bobby thinks Nell is up to something, and Nathan comes across a picture when the glitch is finally fixed, of the web passenger that didn't make sense on the manifest, and he sees a woman with dark hair that could possibly be a wig, and a man from behind, and Valentine shows up at Windermere on Halloween, and turns out he owns Windermere. On the Halloween episode, so this is technically week 5, although it will be the first week of November, but on Halloween, again, I highly recommend watching this video. I was in costume. Valentine makes his presence known, and he intends to live at Windermere and get to know his family. All the Halloween happenings go on, and there's a match for the chemical makeup of the bomb, and it's closest tied to someone who's done stuff for Sunny before, so Jordan really has her eye on Sunny now. Not that she was really investigating anyone else to begin with, but now that kind of reinforces that to her. So that is all I got for you for the October wrap-up. I hope I touched on everything. I rewatched all my videos and just tried to grab some stuff I deleted out, realizing it's not that big. But let me know for the November wrap up, do you want more detail, more about characters, more about the theories behind it? Let me know, and I will see you, well, tomorrow for more General Hospital, but the end of, or the beginning of next month for November's wrap up. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. So I hope you have a great day, and don't forget to check your polling places, because you got to get out there and vote. Woo! Never too early to start pushing that. All right, have a great night. Bye.